So now I'm going to do a play test, and just for reference, I'm playing, this is a Meyer 5M, and the reed is a Rigotti 3 medium. So it's what I would consider right down the middle, very classic, traditional, kind of boring alto setup for a jazz player. And I'm excited to get into this, so let's see what we've got here. So, right off the bat, I like the tone quality. I think it's got a great sound to it. It's got a compact sound, actually, which I like. I think sometimes when I play various modern altos, it seems like they're trying to have the sound almost be more spread or bigger, and sometimes, I don't know if that's because of the neck proportions or the bell proportions. When I play those horns, even if I can get a good quality of sound, they feel too spread out. They don't actually feel very alto-y. They almost feel more like a tenor. So right off the bat, one thing I like about this, compared to some other modern horns I've tried, is that it feels very alto-y, compact in a positive way, I mean. So I like that, very alto-y. As I'm playing a little bit more, I'm noticing the horn feels, I wouldn't call it stuffy. I'm getting a nice vibrant sound. I'm surprised the horn doesn't seem to be vibrating under my fingers actually that much compared to what I'm used to. So. So yeah, I like the sound quality, I like the feel, all the ergonomic comments I have, you know, like I said, right off the bat, they felt very good, they feel very good right now. And right off the bat, the sound is very good. The evenness of the sound seems pretty good. The pitch seems very locked in, maybe a little further out than the Yamaha, which sometimes I have to really get the mouthpiece in super far. And the 6, it's maybe a little bit closer to where I'm positioned on the cork on the 6, for whatever that's worth. Feeling like the sound is coming out in a actually very directional way, so it's quite compact, almost like I could use a little bit more vibrance and spread to the sound. And at least that's what it feels like from behind the horn. I'm not sure how it's getting out into the room, but what it's feeling like is the horn is very, very stable, and it's kind of containing the vibrations. Like it's not quite feeling the resonance or the literal vibration of the metal under my fingers in the same way that I'm used to on the other two horns. And what that's translating to, at least kind of in terms of the psychoacoustics of it, it feels like the sound is very directional. Like it's going out of the bell this way, and it's not spreading out at all. And the truth is, I don't like a super spread sound. I like to have some focus. This feels very tight to me, very directional. It feels like it's coming out of the bell in this way. Again, that's a perception thing behind the horn. I'm not quite sure how it is in the room. And you know, I know that can be a good thing to have more of that forward kind of projection rather than that super spread. Although, you know, I miss some of the fatness in the bottom register that comes with having a little bit more spread and vibrance under the fingers. And now that I'm playing a little more, I'm feeling that middle D. That's actually that's sounding pretty stuffy to me, and it feels like it doesn't have quite as much punch or bite as I'd like to have on that middle D. I like to have a little bit more of a fat, kind of meaty quality that I associate with like Cannonball. And when I'm tonally, I'm kind of coming from a place more close to Cannonball Adderley or Phil Woods on alto. Those are really the models I like. So. Overtones are popping right out. Actually, the altissimo and overtones almost feel easier on this than the other two horns, so I would definitely put that in the upside on this one, maybe on account of that same compact feeling. Quite compact, feels directional. I very much like the quality of sound. Kind of on the flip side of that, I do miss some of that vibration under the fingers and some of that fatness, in particular in the bottom of the horn. Actually, let me just try something a little bit softer here. Notice that D being a little bit stuffy, and some of that actually might be on account of the mechanical setup. So it feels a little heavier, compact, directional. Just for reference here, I'm curious myself. Go back to this is a Mark VI. It's a longbow Mark VI. So the bottom end's a little funky on it, but just for reference here. Right off the bat, I noticed that there's that fatness, that meatiness in the bottom register. As well as that kind of bite and punch on the middle D. That is something I do find it's a little bit of a drawback on that horn compared to this, which I'm more used to. And it does have, I would say, more of a spread sound. I wouldn't call this Mark VI particularly spread or anything like that, really, or any 6 has a kind of a more compact quality to my ear. So this one has more spread, surprisingly, than the Antigua horn. A little more fatness, a little more meatiness. Feels like it has a little more attitude to it, whereas the Antigua feels a little more polite, maybe, is how I would qualify it. Yeah, let me try this Yamaha here. Yamaha 82Z. This is actually the second series, I think, that they made, and it's got the V1 neck as opposed to, I think the earlier ones maybe had, what was a G1 neck, so this is the updated model. This one feels actually the most lively of the 3 horns. It's got more, actually a little bit more power, a little bit more volume. I wouldn't really call it spread out, but it feels like it has the most kind of projection and presence in the room, and it's kind of moving around in this way. Go back to that Antigua before I forget here. Let's try this. It's funny, you know, some of this might also be the dimensions of the neck. I really do like the quality of the sound. It's definitely got the weight, and it does confirm what I was thinking. It really does feel like the sound is shooting straight out the front of the saxophone, and not really enveloping in a wider kind of vibration. So I think if I were in a lead alto type of a position and I wanted to have my sound travel laterally, kind of to the other members of the section, I could see that maybe being a challenge, at least with this particular mouthpiece I have, whereas the other horns seem to throw the sound a little bit more out in the room in some different directions. So I do notice that angled angle of the keys, that was one of the first comments I had feeling it. And I do notice it when I play it. I would get used to it, of course. Not really slowing me down that much. It's got a great sound. It's a great horn. I would feel totally comfortable playing this on a gig, recommending it to students. So it definitely feels like a pro horn. Some of the tendencies are just a little bit different than I'm used to. And I think possibly a different mouthpiece on it, or maybe even a different neck. I'm not sure if this has the option to come with some different necks. Like I know the Yamaha, you can have the V1 or I think it's the C1, which is more of a classical type of a neck. So yeah, I really do like the saxophone, and I would be able to recommend it. And it's a joy to play. Just play a little bit more. Yeah, it feels great. Very nimble, light under the fingers. I like the action. The ergonomics are great. I mean, I'm just picking this thing up for the first time, so I feel like I could operate right now on a gig if I had to pack it up and go to one. So yeah, it's a nice saxophone, very beautiful engraving. It's nice to see some attention given to that detail. And yeah, thanks for the opportunity to check this out.